everybody. We've got something a little bit different today. What we are going to do is a kind of car-related carpentry project where we are going to make a tailgate bench. Here's what we're going to start with. We have a 2x6. The length doesn't really matter. We only need about 3 feet of it anyway, but that was as short as I had it. 1x4x6, 1x6x6, 2x4x8, 4x4x8. Now these will be the main legs, and my back legs are going to be 37.5 inches tall. The front legs are going to be 23.25 inch tall. The side braces will be the 2x4s, and we will have 2 of them. They will be 13.5 inches. We are also going to use 2x4s for the front and the back framework. Now that is going to be based off of the tailgate. So my tailgate is 54 inches wide. So I'm going to be cutting the front and back braces from these 2x4s here. They are going to be 54.25 inch long. And we're going to have 2 center braces from the 2x4s that will be 17.5 inches. Now for the seat is where the 1x's are going to come in. And the 3 1x6s are going to be 61.25 inches wide. And again, this is going to all the width is going to be based on your tailgate size. So you want to measure that first. So these are going to be 61.25 inches long, and so is the 1x4. And the armrests are going to be about 18 inches long. And I'm probably going to notch them and have them screw onto the back braces as well. So let me get the legs marked and the side braces, and we'll build the side framework first. Okay, so I put the one side together and got the other one laid out to show you guys. So what I've done is the plans I had said the cross brace should be 17.25 inches off the ground from the bottom of the board, and that was either a typo or I'm that short. So I've actually lowered that, and instead of the bottom of it being here and the seat being up here, I lowered it by 3.5 inches, and it's actually much more comfortable feeling, and I think it'll look better in the end. But I just used a drill and I augered out. If you have a pocket drill, it'll be better, but I don't. So I just augered out a groove where I could put the screws in. I used 2.5 inch decking screws to go all the way in there, and it's pretty solid. So I've got 2 in here. I'm going to put 2 here, and then we'll stand it up and we'll put the long cross braces that will be the width of the tailgate on there. So let me get this screwed in, and I'm going to cut back to when I have the width boards cut, and we'll go from there. Okay, I got the front and the back supports in, and those ended up being 54.25 inches long, and this is where the tailgate size is going to differentiate. That tailgate's 54 inches wide, so these boards are 1/4 inch wider than that, just to make room for any error having calculation or have a little bit of leeway to get the tailgate in or something like that. So I've got those in, screwed them in. Instead of drilling pocket holes and putting them in, I just towed the screws in, and it was just easier. I had more leeway to play with. I didn't have to worry about a screw coming through the side, and I feel like it's going to have better support that way instead of into the side like that. So I went ahead and put those in. So what we're going to actually cut next are the 2 center supports that are going to go in through here. So I'm just going to measure between here and here. I'm going to cut 2 2x4s, and I'm going to screw them in, one here and one here, and then we'll put the seat. Okay, there we go. I got the 2 center supports put in real quick. That's probably one of the easier parts of the project so far, is just cutting those 2 2x4s and putting them in there. And I toe screwed those in here as well, just straight in, and it's getting pretty solid feeling. It's starting to get a little bit heavy, if I'm honest. But those were 17.5 inches wide, and that wouldn't depend on your tailgate. The depth of the bench, it's gonna be more a little bit personal preference. That's the plans that I had, were 17.5 inches, so that's just what I went with. So now we're gonna do the seat, and this is where all the 1x6s and the 1x4 is gonna come in. And these will depend on the width of the tailgate. Now, because of my tailgate, mine are going to be 61.25 inches wide. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure those real quick, and we're going to put the back one in first, and I'm gonna actually notch the back to go around here, and that will give it a lot more rigidity. And then I'll do the front as well, and we'll cut back to doing the center, and those should be pretty cut and dried. I got the front and back screwed on. You see how I notched the 1x6 around the 4x4, and it's actually created a good amount of stability to the bench just doing that. So all that's left is to cut the third 1x6 and 1x4, and those two will both go right in here. So I'm going to cut those real quick and get those screwed in. And I tried to put as few screws as possible that are visible, but since I can't hide all of them, I put one here and one here just for the seating area. And on the 1x4, 1x6, the other ones, I'm just going to put one screw in the cross braces, and it'll be more than enough to hold them for moving. There's no structural part for the actual seat. They're just for your rear end to be on, so I'm not really concerned about strength on there. I just need to hold the board from moving and to keep everything square. So I'm just going to probably end up putting 4 screws in each board across there, so that should be pretty quick. Okay, moving right along. Now the base is all on there, good and solid. It's getting kind of heavy. So for the armrests, I'm going to use the 2x6, and I'm going to have it flush here to here, and I'm going to let the extra 2 inches come out on the sides here. So the arm is actually going to come like this. I don't have a piece of 2x6. So, oh, actually I do. Not 2x6, but 1x6. So it will go up against here and I'll notch it so it goes further back. So this will be the general idea, and I might let it stick over a couple inches like this, and I'll round the edges off and have a bit of a little grip there or something. So this is a lot more freedom to it to make this how you want it to be. I think that's what I'm going to do. So let me go ahead and get started on that. Okay, so I got both the arms on. I'm going to round these off when I get my sander out and clean that all up. But I got both arms on. They're good and sturdy. I got both of them. I've laid my tailgate down, and I'm going to make some shims for the back here to hold my hinges up, and I'm going to screw the shim to the seat and then the hinge to that. And I haven't exactly figured out how I'm going to attach the back of the tailgate to the side post yet, but we'll get there. So I'm going to cut a couple of shims real quick and get started on this, and at least have it set so I can start to figure this out. Here we go. So what I ended up doing is I had 2 scrap pieces of angle iron that already had holes drilled into it. It's off of an old shelving unit. And I unbolted, you can't even see this, hold on. I unbolted one of the hinges. I guess it's actually where the cable goes that holds the tailgate up. I unbolted it and actually bolted the angle iron under it, and I just screwed it to the back, and I did that on both sides. So that's going to be highly dependent on your tailgate design. And the other thing I thought about doing was taking the actual latches off the bed of my truck that the tailgate came from and screwing those to the inner frame here and latching it like you would normally latch a tailgate. But this will work just as good, and I'm overall very pleased with it. I still need to round the edges on everything. I'm gonna let it sit for about a week, and I will probably stain it as well. So we will come back after it's cleaned up and see the finished product. And here's the finished product. You can pretty much stain this with any color that you want, but I picked a really dark brown, and I think it turned out pretty good. I'm very happy with it. As soon as it warms up a little bit more, it'll be nice to sit out here and sit on the pickup truck bench. Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Please like, comment, and subscribe right here for more Rage Fueled content. We'll see you next time.